So when we solve these by graph, I have to use my negative b over 2a. And this is the work I want to see. So I'm going to start with my first one. Negative 4 over 2 times negative 1. There's 3 negatives there, so that results in a negative. I'm going to do the 2 times negative 1 in my head. That's 2. And then the 4 over 2 is 2. And the reason the answer is negative is there's 3 negatives. Don't get caught up with the negatives when you're actually multiplying or dividing. Okay. And now I'm going to plug negative 2 in for every x. Negative 2 squared is 4, but that becomes a negative 4 with the negative on the outside. The double negative here is 8 and minus 6. Negative 4 and 8 is 4. 4 minus 6 is a negative 2. So this is what I'm looking for. A vertex of negative 2, negative 2. That's how I know you did it by graphing. You just didn't look at a decimalist calculator. Okay? This work will be here. So make no mistake about it. I'm demanding that that work is there. Now, negative 2, negative 2, I'm going to graph that point. If I plug 0 in for x, I get negative 6. Now, I feel like for the most part, most people are okay with here. The common question I get is, how do I get this point over here on the other side? My advice is from the vertex, if it helps you, draw a very light line of symmetry. I went 2 to the right here, so now I got to go 2 to the left. And my third point is negative 4 and negative 6. Now, it may be beneficial to get extra points here in terms of trying to figure out where things intersect. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind. I'm not going to draw the parabola in just yet. Okay? I'm now going to go to a different color here, so it's a little bit easier to see. And now we're going to use the bottom equation. And we're going to get negative 6 over 2 times 1. And that obviously is negative 3. So right away, I can write a vertex x coordinate of negative 3. When I plug that in, negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 2. Positive 9 minus 18, positive 2. So 9 minus 18 is negative 9, plus 2 is a negative 7. Negative 3, negative 7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's my vertex point. Okay? Now, I'm going to use 0, 2. That's the point. If I drew my little line of symmetry here, okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And those are going to be my 2 parabolas. Now, here's my advice. Let's get the point 1 over here. So the vertex point for this bottom one, the x coordinate is negative 3, agreed? Let's put negative 2 in for x. Negative 2 squared is 4. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. 4 and negative 12, negative 8. Negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. So we get points negative 2, negative 6. Which symmetrically means I get another point right there. Can we agree that's going to be a point of intersection when I draw my parabolas? Okay. It's right there. Okay. So if you want to start to draw your parabola, feel free. This parabola right here comes down this way. Now think about it from a logical standpoint. This parabola is coming this way. This parabola is coming this way. We should have a pretty good indication that line of symmetry is coming, or sorry, not line of symmetry. That intersection is coming right here. Okay? So let's see if we can find more points on our top and bottom. Let's start here. We have negative 2, negative 2. Let's move over 1. Let's go to negative 1. Negative 1 squared is a positive 1, but then we apply the negative 1. Negative 4 times negative 1 is 4. So negative 1 and 4 is 3. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. So negative 1, negative 3. Let's be honest, this comes up. That's probably a high likelihood of where the point of intersection is going to be. Okay? So for the red one, let's use negative 1 here as well. Negative 1 squared is 1. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. 1 and negative 6 is negative 5. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. There we go. And there's my parabola. And there's my parabola. And these are the 2 points of intersection. So my answer is going to be negative 1, negative 3. Excuse me. And then it looks like negative 4, negative 6. And those are my 2 answers. So in this case, we'll draw the equation of the line first. My y-intercept is 2, and I have a slope of negative 1 over 1. So it's up 1, left 1, and I'll do the whole graph. Down 1, right 1. This is a straight line. We're bringing you back to Algebra 1. Maybe even a little pre-algebra there. Yes, I got to do my vertex for my quadratic equation here. Oops. Be careful with your negative signs. It's negative b over 2a. So negative 4 over 2 times 1. I see 2 negative signs there. My answer becomes positive. So my vertex is going to have a 2 coordinate for the x. 2 squared minus 4 times 2 minus 2. 4 minus 8 minus 2 is a negative 6. And there's the vertex, 2, negative 6. Put a different color, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my vertex. I have a point at 0, negative 2, right here. I'll draw that little line of symmetry here. I went over 2, I go over another 2. Wow, there's a point of intersection right there. Okay, now, in terms of how I get the next point of intersection, this is my advice to you. I'll put this point down here actually as well. In the back of your mind, you should be thinking, how does a parabola go? It goes like this, right? The point of intersection I have is done over here. What do I need? I need to find this point of intersection over here. We can be smart about it, and it makes us a little more efficient. So really, I know my point of intersection is going to be in this area over here. So I'm going to plug negative 1 in for x. If I plug negative 1 in, negative 1 squared is 1. Negative 4 times negative 1 is 4. 1 and 4 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. So negative 1, 3 hits this point right here. If I want to be perfect with my parabola, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And those are the points I need. Now you notice, could I have plugged in 1 and 3 to get an extra point? Sure, it's unnecessary. All right, I'm just trying to find these points of intersection right here. So my answers become negative 1, 3, and it looks like 4, negative 2. And those are my answers. So obviously the 2x minus 4 is going to go in for my y. Now, as you hopefully recall hearing me say this before, I don't like my x squared negative. So I'm going to move 2x to the other side, and I'm going to add 4 to the other side. And I'm left with 0 equals 3x squared plus 6x minus 9. For the factoring part, take the GCF out. Make your factoring easier. x squared plus 2x minus 3. This is a pretty simple factoring. That's x plus 3, x minus 1. Okay. What would make this equation here equal to 0? Well, you would set both factors equal to 0. X equals a negative 3 and x equals 1. That's half of both answers. Then you simply plug the x in for y. 2 times negative 3 minus 4 is a negative 10. That means my answer is going to be negative 3, negative 10. My other x is 1. 2 times 1 minus 4, that equals a negative 2. Okay? So that means 1, negative 2 is my other answer. So in this case, what I'm seeing people do, I'm seeing most people being able to do this, the substitution part, and we're going to add everything over. Two x squared plus 11x plus 15 equals 0. And I'm going to factor that. The factors of 2 2x and x. Factors of 15, I'm going to put 5 here and 3 here. And obviously both plus signs. I am a big fan of this. When you have that coefficient in front of x that's not 1, I think people get a lot of trouble when they try and do that in their head. Subtract 5, 2x equals a negative 5. Divide by 2, x equals negative 5 halves. Subtract 3, x equals a negative 3. Okay? And then I'm going to plug my x into one of these. Unfortunately, yeah, you're going to have to put it into something that's squared. I'd probably go with the bottom one because the numbers are a little lower. Negative 5 halves squared minus 6 times negative 5 halves minus 5. That's 25 over 4 plus 15 minus 5. And I'll make that 25 over 4 plus 10. Get your common denominator. 40 over 4. That y term is 65 over 4, or I believe 16.25 if you did your decimals. Okay, so that one takes a little bit longer to work out, but let's not act like it's an impossibility. It's truly not. Obviously, the negative 3 will be a little easier to work out. Negative 3 squared minus 6 times negative 3 minus 5. And there we get 9 plus 18 minus 5 equals a 22. And there's our answer.